It started, I believe, in 1985. I was attending Mass, and during that Mass, there was a priest that had been invited from, I believe, Peru or Colombia, one of the, and he was talking about the pandemic. One of the things that stuck in my head, and I believe, 15 years old back then, that he said, if Jesus Christ was alive, this would be the people that he would be working with. And for some reason, that phrase stuck in my head. I was still a kid, so just put it in the back of my mind. But then when I went to college, I was trying to apply for a scholarship. And one of the requirements from the college, from the scholarship application, said that you need to be involved in the community. So I said, okay, let me see who I can volunteer with. And I went to the JAF board and looked for volunteers opportunities. And there was an announcement that said volunteers needed for Bienestar AIDS projects. I said, oh, suddenly all that thing came to back, like, well, the Father said that this is the people that we should be working with. So let me see if they want to take me. And I did, so I went down and I met Oscar. He interviewed me, and that's how it started. My aspiration back then was to become an entrepreneur, make millions, and retire at 30. So I said, I'll give him a year. But then a year comes, and I sincerely started liking the work because I felt that I was making a difference. I didn't like the fact that I had to be facing individuals not much older than I was that were facing life or death situation. Back then, I was around 21, 22. Some of them were in their early 30s, mid 30s, and they would come and because they felt that they didn't have someone to confide in because the disease was very stigmatizing and isolating. So so they would come and they would basically cry and tell me that they did not want it to die. I got a reward from helping those individuals that I could, giving them hope. But I did not like the fact that I had to lie to some of them. And the reason why I said lie is because back then we were seeing people left and right that were coming through the office and they were lost, and most of them were in an advanced stage of the disease. So for me, in a very short period of time, I got very good at diagnosing how quickly somebody would die, especially if you had Kaposi sarcoma. That was the telltale sign that your day for number. The most painful was making arrangements for their funeral. That was one of the things that was very hard, especially when you were doing it with someone who was younger than you. The Catholic Church was a big corporate in trying to blame all the ills of the world in these individuals. So they were alienated. So some of them didn't know where to go. And there was a lot of people that hated us for trying to help people living with HIV. Our office got Molotov cocktailed twice. Bienestar came out of what it used to be Gay and Lesbian Latinos Unidos. And that was a gay and lesbian group that met over at the Gay and Lesbian Center. And the reason why it came about was because the men stopped coming to the groups. Because you got to remember, in those times, there weren't that many places that were gay-friendly. You could not be walking on the street with someone of the same sex, kissing, hugging, because you were asking for trouble. So we as a community, had to develop places where you can meet with other people, just like yourself. Bienestar was the first organization that actually had a transgender program, not only in California, but in the nation, and we had the largest one. If you wanted to keep them negative, you need to provide an environment where they're safe, where you can educate them, and you can let them be. One of the things that we also try to do is try to treat them as people. Many individuals see a transgender and they see it as a sex worker. We do not see it as a sex worker because that's, to us, that's the only opportunity that they have or the only way that they can survive. We actually do trainings, help them write the resume, and I'm glad that many individuals, organizations are now encouraging transgender women to apply so they have other opportunities other than sex work. We started with HIV education. Now we have grown to a multi-site organization where we not only provide HIV education, but HIV treatment, mental health services, substance use disorder treatment, and right now PrEP is one of our main programs that we're trying to develop because, one, we want to make sure that everyone who may be at risk of contracting HIV have access to this wonderful drug because, I'm not a fan of big pharma, I got to give them to them that this is a wonderful drug that can actually save lives, can prevent you from contracting HIV. And what we are seeing is that it's the young people that are getting infected.